All right, everybody. So I wanted to make a video about tap shoes. I get asked a lot about what tap shoes I recommend, what tap shoes are the best. And my short answer to that is it really depends on you. So it depends on your foot, any sort of injuries, things like that we're trying to accommodate. Also, it depends on how many hours a week you're actually wearing your shoes. So I invest a little bit more money in mine because I want them to last for a long time, and I wear them almost at least 5 days a week, okay? So, second thing I want to say, you don't have to have tap shoes to start tap dancing. I also, even though I wear my tap shoes quite often, it's because I'm teaching or I'm recording videos or whatever, I also tap in my sneakers all the time. I'm always tap dancing at pumping gas, in the grocery store, in line. So you don't have to have tap shoes. And I have many people in my community who start without tap shoes or a tap board, and they just start to gain the knowledge, gain the skills, test it out, see if they like it, see if they're going to be consistent, and then they reward themselves with tap shoes later on. So that's the first thing. Now, next thing, tap shoes range from price point of, you can find some online for like $12 on Amazon. I've never bought those because I just feel like that would be a waste of my money. They're gonna fall apart for sure. And then they can go all the way up to over $500, which are my Capezio K360s. I've had these for 13 years, so paying over $500 feels like a no-brainer, and I wear them most often. The other shoe that I have that's quite a little bit more on the expensive side is my Miller & Benz. These are the triple threats. They have, the reason why they're called triple thread is there's a triple buildup here, which means if you look right there, there's 1, 2, 3 layers of buildup. It's a very heavy shoe when you first get it. You can barely bend it. It's really, really stiff. And I have even broken mine in a few different spots. There's a hole in the toe. I've had these for probably going on 18 years. I've had these for forever. So again, the shoes that cost me over $500, or I don't know if these were 500. These might have been like 4 something. Either way, they have lasted me forever. So there's that, okay? It's a big price point in the beginning, but well worth the investment. Now I'm gonna go backwards on that scale. So I started with the K360s, and then I showed you the Miller & Benz. I wanna show you one more thing about the K360s. I don't have a rubber gripper on my shoes. Same thing with my Miller & Benz. I don't have a gripper. And by a gripper, I mean that little rubber thing that comes pre-installed on a lot of the cheaper shoes, the ones under that price point. There's an opinion about these. Some people love the rubber gripper. Some people hate it. It's completely preference, okay? Jason Samuel Smith's right now, if you order those brand new, they'll come to you in the box without the rubber gripper installed. It won't be on your shoe, and you can glue it on there yourself if you like it. Same thing for the Capezio Roxies, you can glue it on yourself. So you do get it, but you have to apply it yourself. Again, you can choose to do that, which you would just take it to a cobbler, I would suggest. Or you could Gorilla Glue it on yourself, but I suggest take it to a cobbler, let them line it up, let them sand out the edge if it gets a little bit overlap, and they will handle your shoe. Again, your choice. Or you can throw it away. Okay, so the thing about the K360s that I love so much, one, I can decide how much buildup I want here and in the heel. I have a triple in my heel, and then I have a double stack in the front. That's just how I like my shoe. It's a preference. You can build it however you want. Also, I get no gripper pad, like I just showed you, and I get a metal soundboard. So you can see between the tap and between the sole of the shoe, there's a little tiny bit of, you can see a little speck of silver that kind of goes through there. Mine's really dented and quite beat up, but that's a metal soundboard. So if you get a cheaper shoe, the soundboard in there is that little tiny black. You see that little bit of black that's between the tap and the sole, that little black thing? That's like a fiber. I don't know what exactly it's made out of, but some sort of fiber tap board. And it's just a little bit different pitch, a little different sound, a little different tone. So again, your choice. So that's my K360s. That's what's on my shirts that we made for our product store. If anybody wants Dance Apparel, we have a lot of them, but this is my K360. Love this shoe, highly recommend it. It is a men's shoe, just so you know. It is a men's shoe, so when you're doing your sizing, you would want to call Capezio or speak to a rep, and they would help you size out what size you need, and they'll do your width and everything. Now, back to the Miller & Benz. Miller & Benz, I love. I love this company because, first of all, I love Avi and Offer, which is Avi and Offer are Miller and Ben. That's their first names. They're phenomenal people and they do incredible things for the tap dancing world. So I love the shoe because I love the men, but also these things last forever. When I owned my brick and mortar dance studio, 20 years ago now, I required all of my advanced tappers to wear Miller and Benz. We did not suggest that my students get the triple threats. That this is too much shoe for younger dancers. It's just too heavy to break through. I don't recommend it. But if you're a dance teacher, absolutely, you wear them a lot. We weigh more. We can bend through the shoe more. Or an adult, very supportive. It's a lot of shoe. It's going to take you a while to break it in, but they're going to last you forever. For me, I had to put, it's been a while, so I've had to put a little insert in mine because the nail on the inside actually has come out and it stabs me in the foot. But that's because, again, I have used these shoes, you guys, a lot and I still can use them. So highly recommend. If you're going to go with a Miller and Ben and you're not wearing your shoes often, like, 4 or 5 times a week, I would stick with the Jazz Tap Master, not the triple threat. Because the Jazz Tap Master has less buildup, so therefore it has more give. You can break it in faster. They sound gorgeous. And again, the company is like amazing to work with. So you would just call them and then you would be able to place your order for your shoes and you can customize these. Same with the K360s. I just wanted black, but you can customize these completely. So anything you want, change colors, change everything. Now, I also have the Miller and Ben T-straps. Again, I think I've had these for like 18 years. There are certain times in my life where I have not worn these a lot, like when I'm pregnant, because my feet swell up and these shoes are already too small for me. I just couldn't pass them up. They were made and somebody didn't pick them up. And so one person's loss is another person's gain. I got to get these at a price point that I was like, yes, I'll just take them. So they're very narrow for my foot. As I mentioned before, I have a wide foot. This fits my foot good. You see how much more narrow this one is. But I'm like Cinderella's stepsister and squeezing my big old foot in this shoe. Now, what I think is really fun about these shoes is you can actually see they put TAP on the toe of a lot of their shoes. And it's really fun. You can customize, again, the leather. These are ostrich leather, pink ostrich leather. This is the T-strap, very supportive. I do shiggy bops and things on my heels all the time. I've never had to worry about this heel breaking. There's a little bit of give. You can see the shoe works well. Again, it's a Capezio tap, so solid sound. Highly recommend these if you like heels. You will love these shoes. And you can change your colors and all that. Okay, next shoe, kind of moving down. I don't have any Jason Samuel Smiths to show. I do love them and I highly recommend them to students. I personally recommend them more than these. These are the Capezio Roxies. I'm not a huge fan of these. It's a preference. And if you like super comfort, soft, squishy shoes, you'll love these. But my K360s, as you can see how thin this heel, the leather is, you see like there's no cushion here at all. It's just leather, that's it. And it's very thin. Okay, these guys have an extreme amount of cushion. They're so squishy and so soft. And the tongue is super soft. So these to me feel like a sneaker or a slipper meets a tap shoe. And just, it's a preference. I want to feel the shoe. I want to feel the floor. Again, some people love these shoes. Are they made amazing? Absolutely. They have a good quality stack to the back. There's a nice taper here to the actual sole. So you can see it starts a little bit thicker and then it tapers in nicely so you're not just clunky all the way. There is, again, the preference. You can add the gripper or not. And it does have a soundboard, but I believe, let me double check it. No, it does not have a soundboard. I don't see a soundboard, but it does have a nice space right here, the little bubble underneath the tap. So you have a little bit of space for give, for sound. It sounds nice. I thought it had a soundboard, but it does not. Either way, a little bit more. I think this is in like the 250 to 270 range. Please double check me. I'm not sure if that's right. I bought these from a friend who owns a dance boutique, and this was her last pair. And I was like, oh, I'll take them off your hands. I need to experience more shoes for my students and for other people. I always get these questions, and I was supporting my friend, And if I didn't love them, my son would wear them. And that's exactly who wears them, is my son. And he wears them only once a week for like maybe 20 minutes when I teach my beginner tap class. And that's it. He doesn't put these on usually on his own. So they're gonna last forever. Quality shoe. Again, this is the Capezio Roxy. It's got beautiful stitching. It's just a little bit too pointed toe for me, considering, again, I like a more flat toe. But again, it's a gorgeous shoe. Okay, next shoe I want to show you. I get questions about this all the time. Do you like the split sole tap shoes? Short answer, no. Short answer, no, I just don't like them. Personally, I grew up in a studio where we did use them sometimes, and I felt like they were there was no quality to the shoe, and I'll show you what I mean by that. A tap shoe is part of your instrument. It is your instrument, right? It's your instrument. The other part of your instrument is the floor, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. But when I'm holding my shoe, I need to know that there's a shoe. There's like, I can hold it by the heel and there's a shank, right? Or a sole, and it doesn't flop. When I hold up this one that's a split sole, it flops. You see that? I don't want that. I want some control in my foot so that I have support. If you think about our feet, okay? I am all for being a minimalist. I go barefoot most times. And there's something to be said about that. That's a whole conversation in itself. Should you be barefoot? Should you have support? How much should support? But this is a very minimalist shoe. However, when we're tapping, there are a lot of people who have worn split sole tap shoes for an extended amount of time and ended up with pain in their arches and ended up with foot pain. And if you think about that, our shoe is part of the instrument, the floor is the other part. As we're banging this down, there's zero support to control that part of your foot. It just, in the long run, is not a great shoe for your foot. Now, going barefoot and being a minimalist outside of tap dancing, I'm all about that. But when we're banging our feet into the ground and we're pounding all of our weight, I just don't think that that's necessary. I think we need a supportive shoe. And if you're trying to do trick steps, like things on your toes, like toe stand wings, you actually need some support. You need a shoe that's gonna hold you so that you can brace that, right? So lots of things, not a fan also because there's zero buildup. It's so tingy to me. It sounds very tingy. I like my shoe to have a little bit more robust sound. So again, I am always looking at how much sole there is here between the leather and the tap. I'm looking at that. And then I'm looking at the quality of taps. These are fine. These are blocks. Not my favorite tap, but they're fine. They work well. And last thing, we're going to move into the even cheaper taps. Now, these are what we would call, gosh, what are these called? I don't remember. I don't remember what these are called, but these are 443C. So a lot of times when they're the younger tap shoe, they just go by a number. There's nothing wrong with the shoe. I love this shoe actually for little kids and for beginners, of adults as well. Again, you can just see there's no buildup. It's a cheaper shoe. It's under $100. I think it's even like around the $50 to $70 mark if you're an adult, maybe 70. But quality tap. The gripper is already installed, but it's fine. It moves, the shoe bends, which is nice. So when you're new, you're not stuck with the stiffness. Or there's the buckle. Again, for little kids, this one has the Velcro, but there is an actual buckle as well for adults. I don't love the flat Mary Janes like this for older women, for older adults, only because there's not a lot of support through, again, that arch of the foot, where I like a lace-up shoe for an adult because there's support and it holds through the whole foot. Now, going back to the heels though, these were buckles. Why do I like these and not these? Well, because this supports all the way through. The T-strap comes and supports all the way through, where this just feels like it kind of leaves my foot open and exposed. And by the end of the time, I've had these in adult sizes to play with them and practice. By the end of practice, my feet hurt. It just hurts. There's just a lot of give in the shoe. So I hope that's really helpful. There's a lot of information. I also have, and I'll put the link right here in the description, I also have a couple tap shoes that I highly recommend. They work great for beginners, something that you're using at home on my website, just some resources for you to check out. And then again, like I said, Jason Samuel Smith's, those are what most of my students wear. It's a beautiful price point. It's at like that $250 to $270. Sometimes you can even get them cheaper on Amazon, or if you look at, maybe just the solid black, you can get them cheaper. And they're a really great price point for the quality shoe. The tap is fantastic. They're soft. They're not as soft as the Roxies, like as squishy, but they are comfortable. They basically come broken in right out of the box. You're good to go. But they are over $200. So if you're wanting a little bit lower price point, I would look at something more like a Block Respect or a Capezio, I forget, Jazz Tap, something like that, I think it's called. Or again, the link that I have down below has some other options. Now, we can't talk tap shoes and not talk tap floor.